Today I'm going to look at some terminal tools and utilities that I think are pretty cool. I'm going to look at cat and bat, kind of one and the same. I'm also going to look at making aliases in the terminal and making them stick, and I'm going to show off how to download things from YouTube, all using the terminal. Let's get started, shall we? You have probably used cat before. I found another utility to use called bat. It's a clone of cat which uses syntax highlighting and get integration. Cat is a command that simply prints out to the terminal or concatenates to the terminal the contents of certain files, or you can send the contents of certain files from one file to another, and you can replace stuff in the destination files or append to it, just with a few commands, or with a slightly different command anyway. I'm sure there's a lot more uses for it, but that's mainly what I use it for. So bat is a clone of cat. So I've already got it installed. Let's get the terminal pulled up here, and so let's make this full screen, and I'm going to go ahead and increase the font size too. Alright, that should be a lot easier to see. So sudo pacman-s bat. So see, you can see I've already got it installed, so I'm not going to reinstall. So if I wanted to, let's say, make a file, let's do this is a file, the greatest file ever, the end. Alright, so now let's make another one. This is yet another file, part 2. Alright, so let's say we want to cat out that to the screen. So we can say cat file.txt. Alright, let's see. Now we can do the same thing with bat. And see how it's a little different there? It gives you line numbers, it gives you, and if there was different syntax in there, they would be highlighted. And it's depending on the file that you're looking up, it can make it a little easier to read. So let's look at, let's make it do, send the contents of file 1 and file 2 to another file. So let's say bat file.txt, file2.txt, send it to document.txt. Alright, so now let's bat that out. And there we go. So we can also do the same thing with cat, and you can see the difference there. I kind of like bat, especially when you're trying to just look up a file that's got different syntax, so that way it can be highlighted a little easier to see. So tell you what, let's cat out, let's say, my qtile config or something like that. Qtile is a tiling window manager based on Python, written in Python, that I've been kind of playing around with. Let's just bat out that configuration file. So bat.config /qtile/config.py, and you can see you have different things highlighted. You have line numbers, very, very easy to see. So this has been kind of nice. And of course you can open it in an editor or something like that. Let's try to append something in our file, in our document.txt. So we're going to make another file. File 3, the best sequel to have ever been made. The end. Question mark. Alright, so if we ls and we see our file 2, file 3, so we can send that to another thing here. So let's do bat file 3 to document.txt. Oh, so I messed it up. File 3.txt. Send that to document.txt. And we were successful there. Now let's bat that out. And you see we only got file 3. So there was a problem there. So let's make it right. So let's kind of just undo what we did there. Alright, so we're back to where we started. Now we need to append that instead of replace. So we're going to put 2 greater than signs. Now if we bat that out, you see we got all of them now. So be very, very careful when you're sending files around from the contents of one file to the contents of another. If you want to append, always be sure that you use 2. If you want to replace, use 1, it's fine. But if you want to append, always use 2 of the greater than symbols. That will save you a lot of headache and heartache. So, and also, just to be on the safe side, if you're trying to bat or cat out the contents of one file to another, or if you want to just type out something and then cat it over to another file, make a backup of that file first and then cat it over there just in case. I have messed up a few times before. It's always better to be safe than sorry when it comes to that kind of thing. So let's clear the terminal. Alright, now I want to talk about doing aliases in the terminal. An alias is just a word that you can put into the terminal to make it do something else. So let's say alias upgrade equals, come on, sudo pacman-syu. Alright, so now we can just type upgrade. Easy peasy, right? But you don't want to type in an alias every single time you want to just type in upgrade and upgrade the system, or do whatever. So we're going to do no here, and so let's look at my bash RC, because that's how you make them stick. So if we go down here, you can see I've got Figlet typing out Linux Dabbler, piping that through a lolcat, and that prints to the terminal every time I open one. It also does neofetch, just because, well, why not? Make it pretty. So I've set a few aliases here. So alias update equals sudo pacman-syu. Alias root is is equal to sudo su. Alias mic is switch user to mic. My IP does IP with BR, C, and A. NAS box is actually how I SSH into my, well, NAS box. I'm so creative, right? So S restart is, sudo systemctl restart. It just makes sense to me. So instead of typing out sudo systemctl restart network manager, I can just do S restart network manager. And same thing with sudo systemctl enable. I can just do S enable, and kill if I want to do sudo pkill a certain program. Just do it by name. I can do free RAM, free space. Well, free RAM will do free-h, which will give you how much RAM is free on the system. Free space will give you DF, or disk free, human readable, and kind of give you an idea of how much room I've got left on the system. OS, well, I just kind of threw that in there for it runs uname-a. Tell you what, let's show how these work on another terminal. I'm going to leave that one pulled up, scoot this over, and let's say root, and we're in a root terminal. So now let's change back to mic, and there we go. We're back to where we were. Alright, let's see my IP. How about that? And NAS box, and we are SSH'd into my NAS box. So, and to get out, just type exit, and we are back on my system now. So now let's do free RAM, free space, and OS. So that shows you that I'm running Linux. My computer's name is Policebox. Running the kernel 4.18.5 on Arch, and just gives you some other information about that. Which is pretty much the same thing that NeoFetch will give you, but I just kind of threw it in there for an example. Let's get out of the terminal. And just get out of that. Now, there's another program that I kind of wanted to show off to, but I'm going to need to go to YouTube to show you. If I go to Firefox and just go to YouTube, and let's go to my page, and let's say this one here, how to add a storage to your Linux system. If we click on that, I'm just going to pause that so you don't get any more audio. Copy the video URL. Copy that. Now let's fire up a terminal. Alright. Now, sorry. Let's show how to install that. It's in the Arch repos. It's already there, or you can use pip. So you can do see what I mean? So it's already there. So let's do, oh, sorry. That's a force of habit, I guess. YouTube DL -F, or capital F, and then we're going to paste the link. That's the link to the video. Now this isn't going to download anything. What this is going to do is actually show you what is available to be downloaded here. So you got to do is just give it a flag and a format code, and you can download any of these. So And this works on a lot of YouTube videos. I'm not condoning downloading music. I'm not condoning downloading music. But this works if you, especially if you want to download, let's say if you lost some data off of your channel. I've done this. So re-download the video, snip out what you need, and you're ready to go. I mean, it's not exactly original quality, but you can download the highest quality that you possibly can. Let's say I wanted to get the 720p version of that video, or I wanted to just download the audio to, snip out a certain piece or something like that. So let's say I want to get just the audio, so that would be 140. So what we can do there is YouTube DL dash lowercase f this time, space 140, and then paste the link. And so it's going to re-download the web page and blah blah blah. But you can see it's actually downloading in the terminal now. So once that gets done, I can kind of show you a little bit more about that. I think this one was one that I had some audio issues where the volume wasn't quite right, so I don't know. Now, depending on your connection, this can take a longer amount of time than what it's showing here, or it can be just instantaneous if you have a ridiculously fast internet connection. I get 24 meg here, so nothing great, but it's way better than some, but way worse than others. So if you have fiber, I kind of hate you. So it's showing we got about 45 seconds. It may or may not take that long, who knows. So while we're at it, another thing that I like to do is this is going to download it to an M4A. You can use Sound Converter. That's what I like to use. Sound Converter. You can use Sound Converter, and let's say you want to add a file, and once that gets done, you can kind of add it and change the file type to, let's say, an MP4 or to an sorry, not MP4, MP3, or or just another open source type. So if we hit cancel and then add file, that went straight to our home. And let's see, it should be a weird looking name. There we go. Hit open there. See, it downloads M4A. So if we hit go to preferences, you can choose several different things on how it's named and that kind of thing. So see, this is going to format it to a .ogg or .ogg file. If we can choose OGG, MP3, FLAC, WAV, M4A, or .opus. Let's do MP3 just to see how fast it is. Alright, so we're good there. Let's convert. It doesn't take very long. That was like I forget how long that video was. Let's see, that video was 12 minutes and 29 seconds. So if you have a little short snippet, it won't take long at all. So it just did 12 minutes and 29 seconds that quick. So if I go to my file manager and look that up, you see I've got an M4A and an MP3. So you can open it with a VLC or whatever, but all G-parted. See what I mean? So get out of that, but your file size will be different. That's 11.9 megs. This one is 10.1 megs. So I mean, just depending on if it's a FLAC or that's you're going to convert to an MP3, the file sizes will be vastly different. So I really like Sound Converter. It works pretty well. I mean, I don't need to keep either one of these. So let's delete those. Not rename. So that's really about all I've got today. I've really enjoyed playing around with YouTube DL and cat and bat, and working and playing around with the aliases. And so just remember, two greater than symbols if you want to append. So thank y'all very much. Y'all have a nice evening.